Everybody felt sorry for me. Everybody felt that I was done dirty. And like I said, Nas said it in his rap. I didn't ask Nas to say that. And everybody that tried to sign me after signed me while I was going after Diddy. All those magazine covers with me saying that he's a snitch, he's a rat, he's this, he's that. And there was a time where the industry wasn't really pumping with him. Yeah. Because of what he did to me. So that's a fact. So I don't know what.
Did it surprise you that there wasn't more of a backlash towards him after the
There was a tremendous backlash.
No, but more of one.
No, there was a tremendous, he was ice cold for a minute. He couldn't even come outside in New York for a minute, but then people got over him. Right. And he's resilient and he reinvented himself and he, built those relationships.
So maybe that's the question I'm asking. Did it surprise you that people were able to get over it to the extent that they did?
That's life. You see, I don't live in those moments. I continue moving forward. And I've learned that to count on myself because people are always going to disappoint you. You may even disappoint yourself if, you're not disciplined enough and you're not focused enough. But the closest thing you're going to get to certitude is yourself and God. Human beings, you're setting yourself up. Your risk management is not on point if you're going to rely on human beings. So I was at a point where I didn't expect anything from anyone, and I understood that don't dismiss or don't not expect the worst from people. So for me, it wasn't like, well, how could you even interact with this guy when it's like, I could go over and over again as to the people that I told about him, and they still, for maybe it was business, maybe it was politics, whatever it was, because we have mutual friends that, that still were my friends, but still remain cool with him, even though I said all the things that I said, even before we reconciled. But that's their issue. And for me, I never wanted to say to anybody, well, you can't be my friend if you're his friend.
When did y'all reconcile? Because I think that I seen a picture of you guys at like a fashion show overseas.
Yeah, the Kenzo fashion show. So there were 2 fashion shows. There were 2 reconciliations. There was a reconciliation in 2012 when I was living in Israel. And, I went out to Paris to see him. And funny enough, Cassie talks about this in her lawsuit, where she says, he would do whatever to her and then try to cover it up by spending, wild money on her, taking on these, shopping sprees. And so I saw that. I didn't see the allegations, but I saw in Paris, he dropped like $500,000 one day, just spending it out. And so when I met with him, it's like, yeah, it was the lawyers that, made me do that to you, my bad, I should have never listened to those lawyers, et cetera, but we're gonna make it right now. So I'll be honest with you, my idea of making it right is, I thought I was gonna get like a $10 million check, the next week. No, he's a billionaire.
Right.
And listen, Flex could say what he wants. Flex is the only person. It's like one person out of everybody else that you hear talking crazy like that. But he could say what he wants. I've always maintained I was defending myself. And even if Diddy shot the woman, he would have been defending himself. But I made a choice. The same way I made a choice to defend myself, I made a choice not to cooperate with the district attorney.
Right.
That deserves gratitude.
Yes.
That deserves, they're not guys like me anymore. You look at Tekashi, you look at all these guys, everybody telling.
They're folding.
Everybody's telling.
Like laundry.
And I could have told. Even if I lied, I could have said, yeah, he had the gun, he gave me the gun, he fired the gun, he did it like this, and he aimed like that.
Right, he would have been the bigger cat.
Just let me about it. That's what they wanted.
Right.
I went to the DA called me in for a proffer. And you asked me, so, what happened? I was like, I was defending myself. So what was Combs doing? I didn't see what he was doing. Did Combs have a gun? I don't know. I didn't see him with a gun. Did Combs fire? I didn't see him. you're wasting my time. Get out of here. 13 years. That's the plea deal I'm going to give you. Or you got to cooperate. You can't change that.
Right.
You can't. Nobody. There's nothing you could do to counter the fact that I could have cooperated with the district attorney, and I didn't.
Do you think that the way that he treated you is going to be a discouragement for anyone that could keep their mouth closed to save him now?
Well, let me tell you this. While, as I said, so when we reconciled in Paris, I was expecting a $10 million check. Even if you wanted to give me $1 million and then do $1 million every year, you know, for the next 10 years. You know, I just calculated you're a billionaire. You know, come on.
Right.
You know, come on. That was the least. And so, you know, I remember chasing him down, and I think he sent like 50 racks. And I was so offended. I was like, oh man, I said, this is crazy. I just see you spend $500,000 on your girl, and like, you know, this is your comrade that saved you so that you could be able to be in the position that you are in.
Right.
And that's what you think it's worth? I'm good. And that's when I went at him again, and I started talking crazy again. And then we reconciled in 2019, 2020, and that reconciliation was a strategic reconciliation as far as me letting go of all baggages, me ridding myself of the cancer of frustration and hate and fury and bitterness and trauma, and making sure that as I try to soar to these higher heights, I didn't have these ton of bricks holding me down. So I already knew there was nothing gonna come from that, no money, no nothing, but it was okay. You know, for me, it was about Belize. It was about, you know, using my network to promote and market Belize, get people to invest in Belize.
Right.
And so that one was on me. That was, you know, I don't need nothing from you,
Washing my
Chad.
hands.
Don't need nothing from you. We good. Whatever you want to do, you do. Whatever you don't want to do, I'm all right. And so, yeah, so everything, as far as even the decisions that I made, I've accepted accountability for my decisions, but not because I decided to defend myself and defend you, because everybody could say what they want in hindsight. It takes 1 second for a bullet to pierce one of your vital organs and for you to go. 1 second. So looking around for security was not an option when I just got into something, you know, 60 days ago.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I even have my weapon, because, you know, it's real in the battlefield.
Right.
So I was taking no chances.
Right.
And it's documented that Scar and all these other people were saying, I'm gonna kill you. And this idea that the problem was with me, Scar's out of his mind. That Nino, Scar, those are all my guys from Brooklyn. Those are my friends. We were cool. There was absolutely no problem. And again, the argument, now all the witnesses are lying. Everybody's lying now. Everybody testified that, you know, Diddy was arguing. The guy threw money in Diddy's face. And Diddy was arguing, and people were looking at him like, yo, let's get up out of here. And he refused to leave. He kept going back and forth. And then Scar was like, yo, I'm gonna kill you, yo, Shyne. You with him, I'm gonna kill you too. And that's when he pulled out the gun, and I pulled out my gun. And that should have been the story. There was no need for Diddy to call a witness to say, oh, you know, we were trying to leave the club, and Shyne just pulled out his gun and started shooting. We were all trying to tell him to stop. Because even today, in all that I'm saying, I'm telling you that if Puff fired a gun, if he shot the victim, he was defending himself. Because we were not the aggressors.
Boy, some foul ass securities that night. Everybody had a gun in the club.
Was Gene Dill there?
He said,
I don't remember Gene being there, but there were 3 weapons fired that night.
right.
That's crazy.
Right? There were 3 weapons fired that night, and they never took the fragments out of the victims. So we don't know who shot the victims.
Right.
The victim saying Diddy shot her, right? And the bottom line is, I never said Diddy shot anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I just said I was defending myself. But he called witnesses to say that I wasn't defending myself, that basically I was just acting like a cowboy in the club.
So
And
wait-
that wasn't true.
Hold on, I talked about this case a lot over the last, 20 years or however long it's been. The actual charge, right, that you went in on,
Was attempted murder.
was it?
Yes.
I wanted to clear that up because I think people are confused with that. And I also, right, because I do know that she testified that. Like she testified, Natanya Rubin is her name, I believe.
Yes.
She testified that it was Diddy, no?
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people were confused with that over the years, that that's what actually, that she said. And even I read somewhere, and I don't know if you could, if this is part of her testimony, that she said that to the surgeon that night.
Yeah, she did say that.
And that was, a lot of people also have not referenced that as well, that's what she said. The media maybe focusing on different things probably took the story in a different direction.
Yeah.
But what were the charges?
The charges that I got convicted of?
Yes.
I got convicted of reckless assault. And that's why that...
You got convicted of reckless assault.
Reckless assault.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
For
That's what I wanted to clear.
Depraved intent.
Indifference.
So, depraved indifference. And so this is the point. That's why that witness was so key.